emailed you earlier this week.
I think I did. Which one was it for? There's a few.
It was the Erica Kirk documentary.
Oh no!
Man, is that ever wild?
No, yeah. You know what? I didn't see the.
No.
There's another one that you sent me that I did watch, and I can't remember what it is now, but I did watch that one.
Was it the one with like Nico Logan and Mark Nixon debating?
Yes. Yes. I did watch that one. And I was like, oh yeah, wow, that was pretty good. Yeah.
It was the same vibe as you versus like I'll blanking on his name.
John Carpe.
Yeah.
I watched it and I was like, oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, for sure. No, I'll have to check. The Erica Kirk thing was getting not too hot or anything like that.
So Noel watched it and I'll put it in the chat for like anyone on the panel, but it is wild.
Yeah.
It is wild.
I'm gonna have to check it out again. And like there's so much controversy around Candace Owens. I'm looking for the chat thing so I can put it up on Canada Report. So once it's in there, Max, let me know and I'll put it on Canada Report
worries.
as well.
Give me a second to find it.
Yeah. The all the stuff surrounding Erica Kirk.
There was also a part 2 of it that dropped last night, and that's really interesting too.
So it's all her connections and stuff, right?
It's the long and short of it is that Erica Kirk has dated enough men to like have like an NBA starting roster. When she was this
we listened in
of Charlie Kirk.
Okay, yeah, all right. I'll have to watch it. The reason, not the reason I stayed away necessarily, but it's so fraught these days, and you can live. I mean, like there's all these documentaries, and like, do these connections exist? I do believe they probably do exist, but like with Candace Owens as well, and I think that Candace Owens is asking interesting questions, but then it seems like the truth is so extreme, like it's so crazy that you automatically reject it. And the person telling it, you're like, wow, I thought they were pretty cool. Like I thought they were like on the line. And then now it's in a situation where it's like, it seems really, really ridiculous. But even so, the truth may be that's right. You know what I mean? Like the truth may be that's exactly what happened. And we just don't know. Right. And it's
the part one of this, you really got to watch it because it goes through all of her familial contacts and who they are, and it's beyond wild where her family comes from or doesn't come from, or how many aliases they have, or there's only ever one known,
or how many nonprofits or shell companies.
Yeah,
the nonprofits and shell companies too.
Yeah,
it is very interesting. Like that's all I can say. And yes, the part 2 goes.
Sorry to hijack the start of the show, but it's a very interesting doc that I recommend everyone here watch.
Yeah. What were we saying, Noel? That it goes into kind of
like part 2. It also talks about her extended family, familial contacts, and how she's connected to one of the largest corrupt families in American history.
Right. That's interesting. Yeah, I did hear things about that, and then I was just like, man, there's so many others. So like, I haven't had time, but there's so many other crazy things. And do you know who else has a Venezuelan wife? Isn't Palia's wife from Venezuela?
Well.
Venezuelan wife.
So, I mean, like you're talking about Erica Kirk being like, you're saying like, oh man, there's all these connections and like, look at the family and this is, concerning connections. And I look at Mark Carney and I think there are concerning connections, look at the family, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Like you look at all these things with regards to Mark Carney's sister-in-law and his connections to Bronfman and all this stuff, right? And Epstein and
his
the rest.
brother works for the king, Carney's brother.
All those connections, right? You look at these things and you're like, holy smoke. And so like, yesterday, when a couple of days ago, when everybody woke up and Maduro had been arrested by the Department of Justice in the United States in Venezuela, I was like, man, like this is an interesting turn of events. And then, like again, when you look at all of the connections between Dominion, Toronto, Venezuela, the rigged elections, the provincial stuff, like how deep does this rot go? And like I was saying on my show today, there's people who are saying that Trump's breaking international law. He can't do this. There are people who are saying this is going to be economically terrible for Canada. I think that's accurate. And there's all these takes. And I think that with all those takes, we're still missing the bigger picture in that I think this is the nexus of the power of the global cabal. They need to be able to rig elections to keep their power, to set their world orders. And Venezuela seems to be one of the places where they're doing multiple things. They're rigging elections. They're de-dollarizing. They're giving other people cheap oil with other dollars than U.S. dollars. And again, I'm not necessarily the U.S. uses the dollar hegemony as a weapon, and they've done things with it that have been probably bad. You know what I mean? Like Iran-Contra. Like there are things that they've used their currency for that have been, well, they should probably be reined in. But at the same time, Canada benefits from the United States being in the position it's in. Canada benefits from the United States having the market it's got. Canada benefits from the United States having the global position it does. And so I'm not necessarily arguing. I can see why Trump is doing what he's doing personally. And I can see why other people are screaming, et cetera, et cetera. And then I look at what's going on again with, all of the connections with Venezuela and all the rest of it. It's like, man, not that I don't know what to think, but it's head spinning. It's crazy. And we haven't even said hi to everybody. Hi, everybody. Welcome to our usual Sunday Kitchen Table Talk. First one of 2026. Thanks for watching. So what do you guys think? Venezuela?
Regime change, baby. Let's go. Another 20-year war.
I can't believe how the leftists are finding a way.
Oh, go ahead.
The leftists are finding a way to say Trump is bad still. It's Trump derangement syndrome all over in hyperdrive that you're seeing the last 2 days. It is unreal. You got protests outside of the Toronto city, save the world from an asteroid, like the movie Armageddon, and they would still find a way to say that we needed the asteroid to hit us because the
asteroid's rights were violated here.
Like
I just want to say, Noel, but you look back, how many times did Trump say that he was going to end all this? Like he was never going to invade a country again. The whole regime change thing was over. So not going to happen. And then this.
So, but I don't know that
I think it's who's controlling who, right?
I've heard that there was no regime change, that Maduro's second in charge Maduro's second in charge had sold him out with the military, and so there was no regime change. They just went in and arrested him in a coordinated thingamajigger. And the other part of this is that yes, Trump is going to run the Venezuelan oil fields, sure. Which okay, that's I don't like that. But
what was stolen from the Americans 16 years ago.
Possibly, but they're gonna bring in, as far as I understand it, they're going to try anyway to either repatriate and place the what's his name, Gonzalez, the guy who lost to Maduro in 24, or are they going to if they place the Machado, who a lot of people really like this Machado lady, but she's sympathetic to Israel, she's sympathetic to
the Walmart.
Huh? She's kissed the wall. Yeah. Okay, that's all we need to say. That's it. Yeah, the short form of that.
There is video of her kissing the wall.
Right. So she's a globalist.
And she's WEF as well.
And WEF, on the WEF stage. So there's problems with that. I think there's a problem. That's red flag for me, right? If we're going to fix things, you're not going to put the WEF acolyte with the brown nose in the leadership position. You're going to put some farmer. You're going to put some guy who's been screaming about this and I mean, like, there are people who want to fix this, who are in positions to fix this. Those are the people you're going to put in place, not somebody who's willing to push forward the correct ideology, right? But then you could make that argument about the US dollars too. So it's just one of those things, man. It's like, if this gets fixed, I don't even know, right? Like it doesn't seem plausible that this whole thing is going to be fixed up this way, but Venezuela indicates that perhaps we are going to go and disturb that hornet's nest. And we'll see what happens with it. So I don't know.
Well, I think look at what happened with Saddam Hussein. Look at all these, even with Afghanistan, all of them.
Regime change,
right?
war.
And they go in, they try to, whether it's regime change or whatever it is, they always go in for their own, kiss the wall initiatives. Mm-hmm. And then, but what ends up happening to that country? Right. And I had heard, I just want to know why. I know there's 5,000 reasons and we're probably never going to know the real truth. But, look at Exxon, right? And how much money the states were getting at that point.
Yeah.
And it was the same with Iraq and everything. So.
Yeah, and there was, I included it in my show this morning as well, just to make the other side, there are many, many facets to this, but there is a petrodollar. If you dare to, poke the United States in the eye and sell oil in anything but US dollars, maybe somebody's going to show up in the middle of the night in a helicopter, and you're going to be arrested and brought to the United States, to Brooklyn, to face trial. Weird. Thanks, KJ. Ryan?
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, start the year with a big bang. Welcome to 2026. We're going to 2027, 6-7. Revelation 6-7.
Uh-oh.
This is the year of the horse, isn't it? And,
is it?
Oh, yeah. This is the year of the horse. We're are all the seals going to be opened up here? Or are we going to go to war?
Well, Stranger Things, they closed that off, so no problem.
Yeah. Well, I'm just wondering too, like, yeah, what Trump did. I'm happy for the Venezuela people. That's great, but
I do think it benefits them.
Are they? Yeah, they're going to open up the oil fields, but how much gold and silver is in Venezuela too?
Gotta wonder.
And that might not go on the market. And just like.
No, it'll go into Fort Knox, man. And then we'll have an audit of Fort Knox. All the gold's here, no problem.
That was a great video. Did you see that one with Elon and Trump going into Fort Knox?
No,
well, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
it never happened.
It didn't happen. I know. I was going to say they didn't do it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's yeah.
But like Samsung, well, they bought a silver mine. They're reopening in Mexico. Yep. None of that silver is going on the market.
No, it's all going to Samsung.
It's all going to their brand new technology, their brand new battery that they're making. But yeah, I'm just going back to the Venezuela and stuff. What they're not saying, that's what we should be looking at too. Like how much gold and silver is there? That's not going to go on the market. It might just be
the powers that, talking about silver, the powers that be are trying to tamp down the price of silver, and the paper price of silver is going down, and they're saying it's, like silver 72 down to 65, down to 55, back down to 35, and they'll sit there because they need it for manufacturing, and they want the silver, and they don't want to actually. I think what they're doing, and like what the Asian guy AI thing that was talking about silver, I think what they're doing is they're replacing real mined silver with paper silver, and they're taking all the mined silver that's in the COMEX vaults and using that in manufacturing at a reduced rate, paid for by like the price that is suppressed by is what's paying for all of this reduced to keep the price of silver nice and low for the companies to have access to it. But now Trump screwed that up, and the price of silver is, they don't have the controls that they once did, but they're trying to artificially tank it to continue the theft. But they've been exposed. Yeah. So like exactly. It looks like, and I mean, I haven't seen any of the price. So usually there's that the overnight. If they needed to inject billions in liquidity or whatever, there's usually the overnight updates about that. I haven't seen anything about that in the last couple of days since the 74 billion that was put in. So it's kind of not weird, but like it seems like they're trying to magic this away. Like, whew, you don't care about the price of silver, like
yeah. Oh yeah. Well, and yeah, they want people to sell their silver, their physical silver. They want it. So if they bring up the price and people on YouTube or whatever says, "Oh yeah, sell your silver now because it's gonna go down," but it's not.
No. Yeah. The COMEX people. Up, right? Yeah, the COMEX people. Well, the price on the ground in Shanghai is something like $130 an ounce. And that's crazy town. Like, not crazy town because that's, if you look at where people think silver should be, it's there's some ratio with gold, and I can't remember what it is, but people were saying $150 silver is back in line with that ratio, and that would not be surprising. And we're approaching that now in the live markets, right? So
people are having a hard time paying their bills, buying food. They're going to sell their silver, right? Maybe for that high. If people are having a hard time, they're going to get rid of their assets.
Maybe, yeah. You're not wrong there, man. Scary stuff. It's it's bumpy. Things are bumpy in 26. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ryan.
Yep.
Max.
Yeah. We're definitely starting off 2020 with a bang. Yeah. We think that Maduro is a tyrant. We don't know for sure because we've been lied to for the past decades.
I saw a whole video. Hold on. Yeah, no, to speak to that, I saw a whole video where Maduro was calling out Israel was calling out the Rothschild banking system. There's no Rothschild bank in Venezuela.
Yeah.
I bet there is now.
And I was going to lead into that. Every country the U.S. has went into spread democracy. It has resulted in a Rothschilds-esque global banking system.
Yep.
This is going to be no different.
Gaddafi, the African
Gaddafi,
gold dinar. Yep.
The funny mustache man. The mustache man is another example of that. We see this pattern throughout all of history, where
and then we get sold.
Every time the U.S. goes in, we send a lot of young white men to die in some foreign meat grinder for spreading democracy when it's just installing a global banking system. So I see this as no different if it's a protracted campaign in Venezuela. Alternatively, this shows that we could have ended the war on drugs decades ago.
Oh yeah,
like decades ago.
Well, you could have, yeah, yes.
There's no money in stopping the war on drugs.
Yeah,
peace sells, but who's buying?
Right. Just think on the war on drugs alone. How much, if there wasn't a war on drugs, that you wouldn't need your spending on law enforcement. I think how much less problems there would be in hospitals. Man, you could go on and on and on. They need that war. It fuels the economy.
It's also that, isn't it funny? A lot of young men are starting to notice who's in control of our governments. Oh, can send them off to war and die. Problem solved.
Yes.
Yes. To speak on how this, I think, will affect Canada. If I'm Mark Carney, I'm shitting myself because we're closer to the U.S. and we are tying ourselves in with China. So what's stopping Delta Force from a day in like April going in and extracting Mark Carney when we get close to that happening?
Wouldn't that be wild? What happens then? That would be one. And we're watching what happens then in Venezuela. So
we see Carney is slowly aligning himself more with China and the censorship that is the European Union. It this becomes way more likely than even right-wing pundits want to acknowledge.
Oh, I agree with you. No, I think that economically, so we are in a situation now where the riches of the Alberta oil field are not even
our one bargaining chip is gone.
But it's yes and no. So, but I think that ultimately Trump wants control. Trump wants economic control, and if you control energy, then you control can control Russia. And I read a part on my show today talking about how if Trump has Venezuela, even just with Venezuela, I don't even think he needs Canada, but he can tie Canada up and Alberta up in, yes, we'll do a deal with you. Yes, we'll tie up this oil. Yes, we'll build a pipeline. And now Alberta's in line with the same North American bloc that has the Venezuelan oil.
My thing is, I don't even think that Trump needs Alberta's oil anymore because
he doesn't.
Once they get a puppet government in Venezuela, Bob's your uncle.
Yeah, no, he doesn't. He doesn't. So that takes away all of Canada's bargaining positioning at all.
And also Alberta separatists, but by extent.
But as soon as, and I think that Trump's dead serious. As soon as the Alberta separatists have what Trump needs, he can move forward in action. I'm going to recognize Alberta, and that will cause the economic unwinding of Canada. And it might take a year, it might take a couple of years, but I don't think so, because the economic pain will be too high. If a district is created that Canadian businesses have access to free trade with the United States in Alberta, then a lot of businesses are going to move to Alberta. Mm-hmm. But I think that what happens is the rest of Canada is F this. We're not going to sit around and have our government harm us, can continue harming us. And I mean, economically, without Alberta, I think Canada's in a bad way. Especially, we can't spend the money that we spend now. And even with the lower oil prices, we can't spend
equalization too is completely
stupid. And all the money we're sending for the Indian Act, and all the money we're spending on foreign wars, and all the money we're spending to bring in foreigners into the country. Our economy is a Ponzi scheme, and unless it keeps expanding, the Ponzi scheme is going to crash, and that's going to cause an economic crash. But if we understand what's happening, then we can, if we want to fix the problem, we can fix. It's a fixable problem. We can have a society that doesn't depend on 2% inflation a year and constant growth and all that other stuff. There are systems that work that way, and we can do that. But our system that's being shoved down our throat is this unending growth, and that's functionally a Ponzi scheme. And I think that they know it. And if we stop any part of it, then that's a poison pill of economic upheaval, basically. And Trump was able to tap dance around that by using his tariffs. And Trump has all that money and he can use that for whatever he wants, and they can't cut him off. So that's why Trump is able to continue doing what he's doing, because he's self-funding with tariffs, basically.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think Trump wants to tie. I think Trump wants to tie up Alberta oil. I think that's part of the plan. I think he wants to tie up all the oil that he can, and then he has more control, or America has more control of everything. But then that might just accelerate de-dollarization. Sorry, you were saying one more thing, and then we got to move to MC.
I think that Maduro, that this happening on New Year's, like the day after New Year's Day, has completely changed the ball game in geopolitics, where like the U.S. government can just go and bingo bango mongo extract a tyrant. So I think the next question is going to be, who is next? Because
I can't wait.
Because it certainly ain't good old Bibi. It certainly ain't Bibi.
Yeah, well, that's another good point, right? You think they'll take out Khomeini?
Iran's going to be next.
Yeah, you think so? Maybe. Could be.
Yeah. Well, it'd be better if you did Carney first, but we'll take Khomeini first.
Yeah, be interesting. Thanks, Max and Ryan.
There's a revolution going on in Iran right now. The people are taking their country back.
Yep.
So maybe not.
Maybe not. Maybe he won't need to. Like maybe Trump won't need to. Maybe the people of Iran will take care of it for him. And that's always the best outcome. That's always the best situation, in my opinion.
Exactly. Yeah, we don't need wars.
No. The last thing you need, because then it muddies the water, and then you talk about the military action rather than the impact of what's happened. But then we had
a lost generation too.
Yeah, but then we had
men who are sent to die.
Yeah, well, hopefully not, right? We haven't seen that yet in Venezuela. Fingers crossed. Thanks, Max and Scott. MC.
So in Venezuela, I get, like, everyone keeps screaming, "Oh, it's about oil! It's about oil!" Like, if you're optimistic, it could be about voting machines, and then that brings up a weird. I've heard people saying, "Oh, they got to have an election in Venezuela as soon as possible." Where are you going to get a not rigged election? Venezuela is the headquarters of rigged elections.
Yep.
Like, I don't know. Given what the rigged elections keep bringing us, I don't mind the U.S. just running the country for a while, like Puerto Rico or whatever, for as long as it takes to sort all this crap out. As far as the silver and stuff in Venezuela, I saw a thing about 800 tons of silver being flown out of Venezuela by the Russians and Chinese on the same day as the whole Maduro thing. If that's true, it indicates that they knew about it. Right, they had their transport planes ready to go.
Well, China was apparently there on the day that Maduro was extradited or extracted.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting timing.
Yeah, and on silver as an individual, like if I want to go buy some silver to store, I go to my local bullion dealer, and they, as long as I've been alive, have been using the COMEX price. Right. And they're not going to switch to the real world price until there's some kind of easy way to do it. Right. They're going to stay on that fake paper price with their little, 1 ounce bars and coins and stuff like that, because what else are they going to do? So I think it's only a matter of time if there's enough demand before someone comes along, to deal it in a real world price. So definitely don't sell it now that it's hung up on this paper fixing, because if it is because of the vaults, then once the vaults are out, you can't really do it anymore, right? There's no point. Who's going to go there knowing you're not going to get anything anyway, because none of it is there. It's gone.
Well, and they've sold the paper something like 300 times more paper out there than there is mined silver. And so that's a huge problem. Like, and that's the same problem that was happening with GameStop. Everybody was saying, hold your stocks, right? With GameStop, right? And the whole thing was they were trying to prove that there's way more GameStop stocks out there than what they say there are, right? If you say there are 100 stocks and then you sell 1,000 stocks, each person has, like, each one stock is bought by 10 people, that's fraud. And they were like, we think that's happening, so hold your GameStop. And they did, and then they almost broke the market. And then some special rules were enacted, and they didn't break the market. Same with AMC, right? And they create a situation, but now they're in a situation where, well, according to the Asian silver AI guy, they can't keep printing money forever. they're in a squeeze that they can't get out of with silver. They've overcommitted so much. Like the GameStop thing, because it was all stocks and paper, there was nothing backing it up. You know what I mean? And now
there's no physical asset.
Physical asset, right? And now there's an empty vault, and manufacturers need silver, and people aren't asking the right questions yet, but they'll get there. Like, where did the silver go? And why did you oversell it by, hundreds of times compared to the mined silver? And, like those questions might actually get answers now, but they also, maybe not. Maybe they'll just be like, ooh, that didn't happen with the silver either. Like,
yeah, that could be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've seen it before.
The other thing,
rigged
what's
elections.
stopping Delta Force from picking up Mark Carney? Well, normie demographics are what's stopping that. Like Venezuela is an ocean away from the United States because of the Darien Gap. And here in Canada, there would be a huge outcry from the socialists, right? Like it's all
like what's happening in New York.
Well, yeah, echo chamber aside, all the videos I've seen from Venezuelans have been positive, right? There wouldn't be all positive news from Canada if they came and picked up Carney and maybe the cabinet or anything like that.
Anita and Justin Trudeau and Katy Perry.
Also, they don't have a legitimate fake election winner to take his place.
Yes.
And there's a demographic issue also of like Americans and Canadians kind of look the same and stuff like that. So then it would be like going to France and taking the president of France away, right? Like,
which probably is necessary too, if we're honest.
A bunch of white people that you just stole their democratically, fraudulently elected leader, and it doesn't matter what 5% of the population thinks about it all being a globalist, conspiracy and all this stuff. If 50% of the people don't believe that, and 30% of the people get pushed into anti-Trumpism because of that, then it's just not going to happen.
I think you're getting ahead of yourself. So Venezuela represents the first domino to go, and it brings proof, right? And potentially, and I'm speculating here. So like, if you move forward in time, there's been time then for people to digest what's happened with Maduro. And then if what's exposed is what Sidney Powell and Rudy Giuliani and all of these people who were saying that the 2020 election was stolen, rigged through machines, through network connectivity, everything that Pulitzer says, all the stuff, if all the things that people have been alleging are true and you can prove it, then that changes things too. Because if you are a duly elected leader using a rigged election, are you really an elected leader? No, you're not. It's fraud. You are a fraudulent leader. Everything you've done is null and void because you're a fraudulent leader. You were elected through fraud, and everything you've done is fraudulent. So no, you do not get any kind of like, oh, I'm the prime minister. You're not. You're a fraudster who's occupying an office illegally. F you. And that applies to almost everybody at this point in time, to be quite honest with you. And whether they know it or not, that applies, because all of our elections are rigged, and they have been rigged for, I want to say decades, because I think decades. So
yeah, but I don't think that extends to Delta Force picking up Mark Carney.
Not yet. No. But okay. So yeah, right. I was going to say, so when proof starts coming out that Venezuela and China and there's another one, Russia probably, but maybe not, I don't know, are working together. I mean, these stories are bandied about a lot, but if you're actioning criminal trials like Maduro, and you have discovery and there's evidence, this is a big trial, things may change in public perception of what's happening in our elected corridors, for lack of a better word, in the halls of leadership, may change. Like, oh, if these people are fraudulently being elected, if Joe Biden was fraudulently elected in 2020, and if Maduro was fraudulently elected in 2018, then, and we extrapolate, and there's lots of unrest, and these people are trying to put in free speech. Yeah, right. And these people are acting like communists trying to remove free speech. Now things look different. You know what I mean? February 1st may look very different than January 1st for your average normie after things come out. But like, I concede fully that
Another thing is that
they
the US
hold on. I want to finish my thought. I concede fully that they may not be able to prove all of that. I concede fully that that evidence may not exist. I'm just saying, if we have a situation where Trump's trying to actually actively go after the global group of criminals that have taken over the West, and I think that a shadow group has placed leaders in Australia, New Zealand, the United Kingdom, all across the United Kingdom, all Wales, Ireland, Scotland, all of them, across the EU, across Canada, every single level, provincial, federal, and municipal as well, and down to school board too, to get their gender ideology and stuff. The kids are very important. Pied Piper is a consistent story for a reason. They go after the kids because the kids are easy to mold, okay? I think that is true. And so if there's evidence to back that up, people like me are going to be louder, and it's going to be difficult, and they don't have their censorship in place, and Trump's kidnapping leaders who try, right? So, well, if you censor your citizens and also sell oil in non-US dollars, then they'll come and get you. So it's a little muddy, but I believe that to be true. And I hope that people, if Trump is actually trying to bring light to this, I hope it works. But if he's not, well, F, then we're kind of screwed.
And the only other thing, so Iran. So is it a real revolution, or is it like Ukraine 2014, or is it like any of the other ones we've seen that, like, who's paying for this? Because Israel wanted Iran gone. I mean, if they could get them to suddenly change sides, then that's a big reversal, right? Someone that's just south of Russia. They used to have common borders with the USSR, and now they have common borders, with all places that used to be the USSR. Mm-hmm. So, like, I don't know. It could be a real revolution. But it could just as easily be something backed by some foreign power to try and put in a regime that's more favorable to the globalists.
Sure. Yeah. 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 Hopefully not. I agree with you, though. There's issues there. Here's a funny story. My mom moved from England to Canada, and she came to Canada to become a nanny back in the 60s, 70s. And she was this close to going to Iran. My grandfather said, "You are not allowed. Like, you are forbidden from going to Iran. You're not allowed to go there." And this was before the revolution in like the late 70s, right? And so she was like, good thing we came to Canada. It's like, yeah, great job, Mom. But it's interesting because I don't have the history of before. Like, I don't know the geopolitics of history before Iran was in the dictatorship it was in now. I know it was a kingdom and run by a royal family, and but I don't know what the relationship with Israel was like in the 60s and 70s. I don't know what their relationship with the rest of the world was like. So I find it hard to comment, but I'm interested to see like what happens next if this big boogeyman Iran is nullified with a regime change that is driven by its own people, like a revolution, and I think that the globalists use places like North Korea and like Iran as a boogeyman to continue the never-ending wars. You know what I mean? Like, they get North Korea to rattle sabers. They get Iran and Israel.
Iran has nuclear weapons. They're like always on the cusp of nuclear
weapons.
Yeah,
they're always right. It's next week. They're 6 months away for sure. Yeah, right. So there's always this boogeyman. And so I feel like the deep state or the globalists they're already globalist friendly states. Iran and North Korea are already globalist friendly states because they're puppets who are being used to be the world's bad guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but okay, so then if you want the public to believe that you've changed things and brought this country over to the good guys' side, because they don't know that they're not on the good guys' side, then maybe you just call up your stooges and say, yeah, okay, your regime's going to get overthrown now, so you might go to your villas in other countries and live out.
They did. They're here in Canada already, man.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah.
So you just call them up and say, go, and then we'll have a revolution and it'll be whatever we say it is next.
Yep. And we've seen evidence, like I've seen evidence that backs that up, that's already been actioned. So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, there's nothing. We were on this ride. We stood in line. People were like, Trump 2020. And they're like, oh, he's going to lose. And now, you know what I mean? Like, the world is, we're on this ride, man. I don't know what point of the ride we're at yet, too. It seems like we're still going up, but that Maduro thing felt like a little bit of a first drop. The COVID thing felt like a bigger drop, but we got rid of it, kind of. But now they're trying to do it again without COVID. So that's weird. But we got to move on. MC, thanks. Ryan. Oh, you're muted. You're muted.
There
we go.
There we go. Yeah, I just wanted to agree with MC there. I can't remember what it was, but I just have a statement. I guess when things get really bad, there's going to be identifiers. I've been in the gold, silver, Bitcoin space for about 10 years. And the biggest thing is hyperinflationary depression. When your food starts, like a loaf of bread starts at $5 and then $10 the next day, there's something very wrong. So just kind of watch for a hyperinflation, your stuff to go up fast. And to weather this storm, grab silver. There's a piece of silver there. I have a little bit more, and get junk silver wherever you can. So diversify your portfolio: gold, silver, Bitcoin, cash. Have cash out of the bank. Get food, water, energy. Get your security. Get a knife, or get a what are those golf clubs? Those
golf clubs?
You can get a golf club, even a golf club.
Yeah,
right?
A golf club. It's nice and long. That's good.
Yeah.
Baseball bat's less than an arm's length, so you have to get close to the person. That's a good point.
Exactly. Guardability, wealth preservation, community. Make sure if you got farmers, go talk to them. They do eggs, cattle. You got to have your steak while this is going on, right?
For sure, I agree. I don't eat nearly enough steak. I don't.
Just be prepared. And
it's good advice.
It'll be fine. No, don't fear. Just prepare yourself.
I was going to say anything that is. I remember the blackout of 2003, and into the second day, I was like, "This is lasting a lot longer than I anticipated it last." And like the power went out for almost the whole weekend. It was back like Sunday afternoon or something like that, right? And people were sitting on their porch and playing guitar, and everybody was. I mean, Guelph is a very crunchy place. It's very. There's lots of hippies in Guelph, especially in the early 2000s. Lots of hippies and going to the University of Guelph and stuff. So people were.
Were you ever one of them?
No, I never went to the university. I just lived in Guelph. I rented to university students, and I owned a house downtown, right behind the Church of Our Lady. No, that's where I lived. It was on Glasgow Street, the house that I owned, and I rented it out to university students and stuff. And I worked, and so that weekend was pretty. Peter says Guelph is a Marxist hellhole. Yes, that's understating it. But it wasn't back then. It was back then. I just didn't see it. Had rose-colored glasses
same experience. Our town, the whole power went out. It was for like a good, pretty much 8 hours.
Yep.
I just went uptown to see if I could get gas. You can't get gas.
No, the pumps. Yeah, the pumps are electric.
The grocery store. Their tellers are down in 15 minutes. So, and they don't take cash. They don't have enough of the cash. I'm like, holy
no float
shit. I gotta do something here.
Yeah. But
it's funny to listen to you guys talk about 8 hours or 2 days. Come out to the East Coast, experience a couple hurricanes, Bob.
Yeah.
Well, you can lose power 3, 4, 5, 6 days, no problem. Right.
Crazy.
And if you're not set up for that, don't live here.
Yep. Yeah, you're not wrong.
Invitation accepted there, no?
Indeed. We're coming. I'm coming for a hurricane, buddy. I'd love to go.
Honestly, as long as your house still stands and you don't get too much damage, hurricanes are so much fun.
I remember. I think it was the year one of the first years I was on Kitchen Table Talks. Noel, I know you remember it, but we had that bad hurricane that power was out for 2 or 3 days. Yep. It was around the fall. I want to say mid to late October.
Yeah, I believe. Well, again, you got Fiona, you got Dorian, you got Chris, you got Lee. It's probably Lee, and we actually had a friend of ours' 60th birthday party.
I remember. I remember that in a barn. Yeah,
we just powered it up with generators.
Yep.
But we were so loud you couldn't hear it from the street because 100 kilometer an hour winds just takes that noise and goes poof, gone.
Now, there's some. Hold on. There's some people in the chat who are saying, who are saying that a storm is different than starving people, and I was just wondering the same thing. Like, my point was going to be that the power came back on, and the crisis kind of passed, and that people were resilient enough to kind of deal with it, and it wasn't crazy, but if the trucks stop coming, if the food stops somehow, you know what I'm saying? And there's not enough, like if my neighborhood started hunting in the woods nearby, we would be out of food in a couple of days. Like it would be a problem.
Just because you got a hurricane doesn't mean your stores are still
No.
open.
I'm talking about, because we were talking about how crises can kind of come up and like you're not prepared and all the rest of it. And so mass starvation, a situation where there's no more food coming or something like that, collapse of society. Yeah. Like if something happens that, you know, all of a sudden the financial markets doesn't work anymore or for something like that, something that's not easily fixed, you know, it's not as easy as connecting up the power anymore. Or, you know, the consequences of decades of financial malfeasance come and get shoved down these globalists' throats. You might have a week or more of real dicey kind of shit. And so like in that situation, I want to have faith that people are going to be able to bounce back. What was it, Bosnia? In the when they removed the communist dictators in Bosnia, they had a year of like pretty much hell. I read a whole breakdown of a guy's year in Bosnia with no government, no delivery trucks, no nothing. And he was trying to take care of his family. And he said, yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. Like it was pretty bad, got very, very bad. And so the real world examples are a lot of people die and nobody's ever held accountable. So that's kind of shitty, right? So like, yes, storms on the East Coast. I would love to ride out a hurricane. I may take you up on that offer, sir. But I don't want to. The potential of losing chocolate cereal for an extended period of time terrifies me. Thanks, guys. Steve, you got your hand up.
Hey, g'day. Going back to silver and all that, like in the back of my head, I think, well, where's commodities price of copper and magnesium and
shooting up
nickel?
Yeah.
Oh, copper,
skyrocketing.
magnesium, nickel, and you wonder those things. Like as an electrician, copper wire is just out through the roof for the last 15, 20 years. It's a huge monopoly.
Yeah. Is there anything?
Nobody ever talks about that, or copper pipe, or magnesium that's tied into various metals, and you know, like I wonder about that. It's like a hidden bubble, you know.
It is, well, and they want to hide it. They don't want people to understand.
Exactly.
If you understand, you might panic.
On that, you know. and then getting back to the hurricanes and stuff like that, there was like 8 days in Ottawa. I don't know, probably a couple of years ago. And like, it just so happened that Christmas, my wife said, I bought myself a gift for Christmas because you won't. And she went and bought this huge generator. And then as an electrician, I had to wire it up and hardwire it to the house.
Yeah,
and that was my Christmas gift.
For real.
And 2 days later, the neutral blew out of my neighbor's house who just had a newborn. So I didn't even get to use it.
Oh no.
They did. And then I powered three homes for 8 days, and it just so happens that I went and filled up all my fibers of fuel, and they all paid for it all. But the gas station was still open, which was a godsend, right?
Yeah, lucky, right?
Yeah, so things like that. And still today, my shed is filled with fuel. God help, nothing happens to my shed.
Right.
It's
being
filled
prepared.
with fibers, full of fuel with stabilizer. Like, you know what I mean?
Yep. I hear about it.
So be it. Interesting. Anyway, funny you hit that topic, and that was my point. But the commodities thing, and you know, all those other metals that we use, and what's up with the pricing of that, and is that just as hidden as silver? Nobody ever questions that. So I just thought I'd throw that out there.
Yeah, no, they're certainly suppressing it, and they're suppressing it because it's used in manufacturing, and they're using as a subsidy the error between the real value and the suppressed value. And that subsidy is supposed to be invisible, and we're supposed to pay it and they're using that to provide the manufacturing material to places like Apple and Samsung. And I'm speaking specifically of silver.
I made you say it.
Apple? No, okay.
No, just the others. Just how it's big conglomerate.
It is, yeah.
And
but we subsidize.
They control the price of things.
Yes. So, but if they didn't, so like their justification though is if we don't do this, if we don't provide $35 silver to Samsung, then the price of these surveillance devices is going to get way too high, and nobody's going to spend $5,000 on a cell phone every 2 years. Nobody's going to spend $15,000 on a cell phone because the silver in it's worth that much. Nobody's going to do that, right?
But you can't build your home because a hammer is $140, and the copper wire to wire your house is $17,000 unless you go through a bulk rate through some non-taxed entity in Calgary they buy all their metals from.
So the inflation of the copper has been a good excuse for the reason for home prices ticking up and up and up and up and up and up. So this plays into the narrative. They can say, listen, your home has, $40,000 worth of copper in it. So like that's why it doesn't cost $10,000 anymore. Cause when a house cost $10,000, there wasn't so much copper wiring in it. And now the copper is just, so expensive, blah, blah. So it plays into
Except Canada has so much copper. Why don't we create big, huge copper wire plants? Well, we actually do have a few. We just sell it elsewhere and make it ourselves.
I love this idea. Can we do this? Let's get a copper mine. Let's get, let's do this. Let's do this. Okay, hey, yeah, I'm in. I'm in. Ground floor, baby. Let's do this.
Because copper and nickel live together, and just start a copper mine, man.
No, I don't. No, not the copper mine. I want to make it in. I want to make the house wiring.
Let's make Lumex, and we call it Markex.
Love it. This is perfect.
What about a lithium mine?
No, man. Those things are terrible for the environment.
Yeah, there are tons
I'm nothing
of,
if not green
deposits in Nova Scotia.
But
I don't think we have enough young little children.
I'm behind on the reference.
That's import some foreigners.
We already have them. What are you talking about?
They're already here.
That's in your province, not ours.
Oh.
Okay.
So
anyway, moving on.
Yeah, moving on. Well, we've touched on a lot of the things. Oh, well, I kind of alluded to Polyev and his connections to Venezuela, et cetera, et cetera. Isn't it weird how? Polyev
has he said anything about Venezuela?
Yes, he has.
He did. He said good job to Trump. He congratulated Trump on a successful, flawless mission and all the rest of that stuff. So he broke with a lot of the Canadian leaders. The NDP leader was saying it's terrible. Mark Carney didn't really say anything. He put up a 1,000-word essay, and everybody was like, "What? Could you just?" So I don't know. Macron and Carney shared a lot of the same language, so it was a globalist approved talking point.
He put Macron's thing.
Yeah,
through like ChatGPT.
Yeah, basically he waited,
regurgitated it.
Yeah, he waited for Macron to post his, and he was like, "Okay, rewrite this, but make it sound, like a smart banker wrote it."
Rewrite it in English. That's it.
Yeah. Well, Macron's was in English too. They post both.
Well, they think he posted it in French too.
Did they? Yeah. Max, you got your hand up.
I guess I want to circle back to what MC was saying about like America doesn't need to send Delta Force in. They have a gajillion ways of like subverting and taking over a like government, whether that's airstrikes, CIA like actors operating in our country. Like they have tons of ways of like subverting and making a state a puppet government. Mm-hmm. What I think is interesting, and this is a rabbit hole I kind of went down a little recently. I know people on the panel and watching and probably went down earlier, but they tell us everything they are going to do. And they have for like decades at this point. Has anyone here ever listened to sat down and listened to the lyrics of Californication by the like Red Hot Chili Peppers?
All of Eminem's song. I don't really like Red Hot Chili Peppers, but like I know what you mean. They have lots of. Do you have lyrics you want to quote? Like, do you have?
I do. And little girls from Sweden dream of silver screen quotation. Now, who does that sound like, everyone?
Yeah.
Who does that sound like?
Indeed.
We find another one here. I just have it. Space may be the final frontier, but it's made in a Hollywood basement.
Yeah. There's a whole bunch. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of things like that.
Born and raised by those who praise control of population. Well, everybody's been there, and I don't mean no vacation. Don't these all sound like things we are living through?
Yes.
Or have lived through?
Yep.
Isn't it funny that they just tell it in our face?
Yep.
They just put it in our face, but nobody picks up on it.
Predictive programming. It's a little bit of suggestive predictive programming that they're doing. At the end of The Matrix, have you seen The Matrix? If you haven't watched The Matrix, you should go back and watch The Matrix.
I haven't watched The Matrix in a while, but I think I know what scene you're talking about.
Right at the end, when Neo flies away, he's in The Matrix and he says, I'm going to show you how, I can't remember the exact quote. I should find it, but I'm going to show you how free or amazing or blah, 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 a world without borders can be. And we'll build it together. And he flies off. And I was like, wait, what? I was like, what the heck? And there's the Thanos, the Avengers movie, the Thanos one.
Snap.
There was a whole section where he's like diatribing and he's talking about how, they're parasites and we have to get rid of them. And like, we don't get rid of them, they're going to eat us all up. And
like perfectly balanced.
Yeah. He's trying for balance. And it's the same ideology as the globalists. And it's very interesting because like they force this down into, like they shove it down our throats through media, and it doesn't even occur to people that they don't have to consume that media. Right. It's like, oh, well.
Another example is like the Star Wars prequels. I watched, it's a clip on YouTube. You can find it, but Alex Jones breaks down the like prequels, and wow, isn't that similar to what we're living through now? But I will say it's interesting that this happening in Venezuela is happening and when it did, considering the amount of other things that are still going on and we don't have answers to, like say the Epstein files, everything happening in like Minnesota with the Somali fraud. Everything going on with like Charlie Kirk, and there's still questions about that. This, to me, a part of it seems like a very well-timed distraction because now everyone's praising Trump when maybe we should be, trying to get Pam Bondi fired and like the other FBI guy. This, like, there are probably good things here, but we aren't talking about the real issues that we still need answers for. Another example, everyone's talking about Venezuela. Still nobody's talking about all those Chinese spies in our parliament. Like this thing in Venezuela is interesting, but there are still a lot of things we don't have answers to and probably never will at this point.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, we're 10 years, like there are political scandals that were happening in 2015, 2016, 2017 that have metastasized and turned into full-blown cancers, and nobody's interested in talking about that. Like the spending on indigenous, like First Nations, the lack of any kind of tangible results from
cronyism.
Well, any tangiable results from
Winnipeg Lab leak. Winnipeg Lab leak.
Yeah, there's also, oh my gosh. And I mean, it's treason. Yeah, like it's like a lot of the stuff that has happened has been elected officials using their positions to enrich themselves or their companies, and it's treasonous. There are elected officials who went on all of the social media and they were like, it's safe, it's effective, and like we know now it's not safe or effective. And there's all sorts of
Nortel.
stuff.
Isn't Nortel Huawei?
Yeah. Well, but isn't it? Yeah, it sure is. Yeah, and that happened in 2000.
Translated. It's all translatable. And now the new NDHQ is at the same facility, the Carling campus. Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, but it's all we're being played is not the right word. Our brains are being. We're like goldfish. I've talked about this before. We're like goldfish. We forget. Yeah, for sure. And like constant external stimulus, you're never really alone with your thoughts to think like, what do I want to do? How am I going to move forward with this? Here's the thing that I'm working on. Like you're like, oh man, I got to scroll Reddit, or I got to scroll X to find out what's going on, or I've got to check in with people. I got to check my email. I got to do this and that. And there's this constant need to something new, consume something new rather than like reflect on. This
aligns perfectly, Mark. A huge asset. Remember that snowboarder guy? He's a drug trafficker, all this stuff. They found
Ryan Wedding.
They found the warehouse in Mexico with all these prototype GP bikes from all over the world, like Valentino Rossi's bikes and all the stuff. Well, you know what? Bikes are a commodity and they sell really well, and they're small and you can keep them. And I've been doing it for 25 years of my life, rebuilding motorcycles. And I've always thought about that as small asset value, small asset value. And isn't it funny? This guy did it huge scale, like huge $50 million of bikes. Just saying, I wonder what's going on there.
That was Ryan Wedding that you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was using bike. I don't know the whole story. I looked at it briefly, but it doesn't really fall into the politics umbrella. So like, explain to people who don't know what's going on with the Ryan Wedding thing.
No, okay. So he had to hide his money, much like
it was a laundering.
Cartel guys.
Okay.
Rather than vats full of money, he just bought up these beautiful super bikes from all over the world.
Interesting.
And then they found him in Mexico with like 120 bikes that like a GP bike's worth $250,000. The tires are $12,000. Okay,
Wow,
and now he has
nuts, man.
a warehouse full of them, like all these. Oh my God, you wouldn't believe it. Anyway,
Interesting.
So it's amazing how people can find a way to use their asset without you ever knowing.
Yes, they can hide it very easily. Yep, for sure. Well, and companies are people, just like corporations are people, because people are corporations, right? And so it's indistinguishable in the law. Crazy.
The East Coast fishermen know how to hide assets well. You look at all their houses. They don't live in big mansions, right? They don't drive fancy cars too much.
Yep.
You would never realize what the boat's worth, but they're pulling in hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions plus. Where's the money go?
Anybody ever watch Breaking Bad and the scene where like Saul Goodman explains money laundering?
Yep.
Like Jesse, that's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead,
to circle back to what you're saying about the constant stimulus, I over like the New Year's and Christmas break, I have seen the most insane copes from CPC people about how if Mark Carney gets his majority, the shield of accountability or like the shield of excuses goes away for the Liberals. And I'm asking myself, I'm sorry, did we all not live through the like Trudeau minority that was propped up by the NDP? We are already in that. But if they have a majority, we're even more screwed. So I don't know why everyone is holding out hope that like, oh, it was an article by I think Kean Bexty on Juno where he's like, oh, if like the like Liberals get their majority, it's only a knife's edge majority because anything can happen. But I read that, I'm like, have we not all lived through COVID? Have we not lived through two like minorities that were propped up by the NDP? That's what's happening with Mark Carney now. But the only difference is this time they're being propped up in part by like the like CPC because they could have brought down the government, but they didn't. And it's just it's insane to me how people can like say this and still be prominent journalists during these eras of like Canadian politics when like we can look back and we can see a pattern of events that is unfolding right now. And
Max, do you think that there's going to be another couple floor crossers by the end of the month? Because Pierre Poilievre, he has his what is it? His
leadership
review.
On
the 29th.
I'm curious. I'm actually going to propose a question to you. What do you think is going to happen first? The Liberals get their censorship bills passed, or we get another floor crosser? Because at this point,
we'll get another floor crosser before the 29th.
Oh, I fully agree with that. The only question is who, because there have been rumors. There's been constant rumors around Parliament Hill that they're pitching, and we even know that I think like Mendocino or whoever is their foreign guy would say, yeah, there's a big bounty up for like whoever crosses the floor. So it's a matter of time at this point.
Yeah, and then they'll start. Yeah, the censorship bills, put them all in, like you're saying. Yeah.
Well, they're. I've heard people saying that they're trying to emulate the United Kingdom, England, and EU. So we'll see, and we'll see. It'll be terrible. I'm not looking forward to it. That's for sure.
I just don't understand how like people can like just cope about it and say like if they get a majority, it's somehow this like 5D chess win when like I've lived through like 10 years of like Trudeau
quasi
mismanagement.
Yeah.
And that's
that's what I was going to say in response to that. The the thin majority is a non-argument. They've had a de facto majority because of support from the NDP for the whole time, from Elizabeth May. Like Elizabeth May is a de facto liberal,
and that's what we talked about in the green room a little bit, or even on the show. But like that interview between Nico Logan and Mark Nixon, Nico brought that up, and Mark just completely don't just dodged it like he was Neo. Yeah. And just dodged those bullets.
Yeah, and Elizabeth May was like, "Oh, I'm gonna, I believe Mark Carney has a climate plan," which is the stupid. Regardless of all that, to continue to believe in this climate nonsense in the world that is 2025 and 2026 now is just jaw dropping. So she's ideologically captured, and she goes ahead and votes for Mark Carney, and now things are tickety boo, everything's just fine. It's ridiculous. So
she's such a green douchebag, and it's all about the grift. Did you hear about Mark Carney down in the rainforest in Amazon?
Yep.
That he's clear cutting, and he's doing it all with slaves for his Brookfield Management Company.
I've known it for years.
They're all liars and thieves.
Yeah, they are. Thanks,
Do you
Max.
think Pierre's going to survive his leadership review?
I don't know who they put in. They might parachute in Kenny. They might parachute in Danielle Smith.
Jamil Jamani.
Ben Mulrooney.
Ben Mulrooney.
I think it's
Ben Mulrooney and Ben Mulrooney and Jason Kenney are my two shortlist.
Just watch over the next couple of 2 weeks there. Who are the media shopping around to be a prominent, conservative? And
Trudeau's rap kid.
How does the Conservative Party have any kind of support? Like, is anybody in this chat net right now a supporter of the Conservative Party at all?
Like, do you mean in the YouTube chat or like in the
No, like in our panel here, like the
oh fuck no.
Yeah, right. I don't think anybody here is a supporter of the Conservative Party because they fundamentally don't talk about the things they need to talk about, and they have too many.
They're washed.
Yeah. Well, they have too many commitments that are.
They couldn't possibly believe in 9 things that I want.
Yeah.
They have these 9 things. They couldn't possibly believe in any of them.
They have
How
too
many
many.
elections have they lost?
4 going on 4, I think 4.
6, 7?
Yeah.
6, 7 elections?
But they have too many commitments that are outside. Like their first commitment is to the dairy cartel, and their second commitment is to.
Oh, they're gonna have direct flights to Armistice in India,
right? Yeah, they're not
support Ukraine.
It's not like they're
Israel.
It's not like they're even as on the nose as Dallas Brody. And don't get me started on Dallas Brody.
Fuck.
So it's just one of those things, man. I look at it and I'm like, how is this? And there's no other, like the People's Party is not surging in this vacuum of any kind of sense. There's no reform party being built.
The Dominion Society is good, but they aren't a party, and they're
not a party.
Like
they want to be a kingmaker. They don't want to be a political party themselves. They want to put money into political parties that they agree with. That
I respect what they're doing, but the issue is that the CPC already has way more like vested donators that have way more money than the Dominion Society, and they're going to take the money over.
Oh, you got to start. You got to start somewhere. Yeah. No. You have to start somewhere though. So I mean, good on the Dominion Society for moving forward and having so much traction. They've done a good job.
That's not me trying to like knock them. I'm just saying.
Sure.
Right now.
Yeah. A lot of people don't get started with things because they fear that opening, like that beginning where you don't have traction and it's you're trying to find your voice and you're trying to find your footing and stuff. And I would encourage people to start because like. If you have something to say, if you have something that resonates, then like people will flock, like people do flock to it. And which is why, again, I wish our strategy reflected the actual game we're playing, because like when you do start up something like a political party, like even New Blue, like their messaging is very, very
like, are they around?
No, but I mean, like I follow them and they did a post that was like 12 days of Christmas. Like 12 policies of Christmas type deal. And like, I was seeing the post after January 2nd or after January 1st. And I thought that was weird. And then it doesn't, I don't know if it's censorship or if it's a miss of the communication or what. Like, I don't know what's preventing any political party in Canada from developing in the face of these political parties that are clearly out of touch. I don't know what the sticking point is, but there appears to be a sticking point. And I think it's nefarious. I think that there are people behind the scenes that are crushing things before they can get started. But I'm a
With
big,
the-
I'm a big
Yes,
conspiracy
Mark,
I haven't
theorist.
heard anything
there
from
is
them
a
since
liberal
late
cor-
COVID
Yeah.
era.
Whoa, okay, hold on. Too many people talking at once.
Okay, I'll shut up.
Too many people. Max and then Scott.
I was gonna say, like, I haven't heard anything from New Blue since like late COVID.
Yeah, I haven't-
Like
I
around
haven't
Trucker
either.
Convoy, they have made themselves irrelevant,
Yep.
and that's their own like ill fortune. But they need, but like if they actually, because I think at least in Ontario, there could be a strong opposition on the conservative side.
There should be.
to-
Yeah.
to like Doug Ford, but nobody's made any effort to build it. Look at another person. I think Derek Sloan also wanted to throw his hat in the ring in like Ontario.
He's
And
got the
most he
Ontario
did
party.
was, like, and the most he did was like an interview with like police on guard for the, and
Yeah.
I haven't, and like we haven't heard hide or hair of him since like,
Yeah.
like I remember I watched, it was on Canada Report. It was that interview was about all like the vaccinations and like child deaths that police on guard 4D was investigating, but I haven't heard hide or hair from him since.
Yep. I invited him onto my show and I said, I want to be an education minister. I'll support you. This is what I want to do with education. He didn't even respond. I was like, all right, man. Like, sure, whatever. Thanks, Max. Scott.
Yeah, I already made my point. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I thought you had your hand up. All right. Well, we're after 2:00 and it seems like a good time to call it. So this is the end of the Kitchen Table Talk today. Man, I think the world's crazy. So I can't wait to see what next week